Hey everybody, this is Yasaswi Kompella, and I'm a junior. I'll be explaining the HTML part of this project.
Hi everyone, this is our final project, and my name is Aasha Kodukula. I'm a rising junior, and I worked on the style CSS part of this project.
Hey everyone, this is Mubashar Mian and I am a rising junior and I did the style.css part of this project.
Hey all, this is Karan Shrivastava, a senior, and today I'm going to be presenting the JavaScript logic and functioning of the web programming final project.
The main game objective is this a square in which there's 15 tiles, where one tile is just an empty space, and you have to move every tile in order to complete the puzzle. And you have to complete it in the base 1, 2, 3, 4, going till 15, and then you win the puzzle. Coming to the HTML side, the header is from the line 3 to line 13, where this is the main title, the 15 puzzle game, which will basically look like this, which we use fonts and decoration, which will be taught to you in the style sheet, and the style sheet is project.css. Starting with the body starts with this function which is called start ready overlay. It's just to create a visualization. So you start, it clicks to go, and then it resets everything. There's a reset option here which is explained in line 45. And then coming to the rest, it starts with let's start the game, and then these are the tiles, which the tiles will be filled through JavaScript by using a loop, and then the controls and everything will be held by the JavaScript as well, which will be going to do. But just running the HTML file, you'll just get this format where there's nothing. There's no style, there's no function. The only function is basically if I click Y, it opens a LinkedIn page. That's it, because we used these 4 lines from line 49 to line 52. That's why the HTML provides just the structure of the page, and CSS provides the style, and Java provides the functionality, like moving the buttons, resetting the whole thing, shuffling it.
This is Aasha speaking, and I'm going to go over the style sheet for our code. So for the body element, we put a background image using the background image URL. So what that did was like put the image all over the screen behind the puzzle, and we put the text align to be centered. So um, it centered the text and other online content horizontally on the page. And for the controls, we also put the center. And for game, we put the position relative, which allows child elements inside the container to be positioned relative to its bounds, meaning it helps with placing the game pieces. And the width and height to be 325 pixels, and the margin to be 0, margin top to be 10 pixels, and the border to be 8 pixels, with the color 444, with a border radius of 4 pixels and background color of white. All of these were applied to the game, and in the game span, the position was absolute, which allows each game piece to be placed anywhere inside the game container. And then the display was block, which means it makes each game piece take up its own space, and it allows for width and height. So the width and height is 80 pixels, border radius is 4 pixels, and the font family is Samarkand in cursive with the font size of 48 pixels, the line height of 80 pixels, and text align to be centered and the color to be white. And the game span is empty. Game span empty is for the background to be transparent, and the game span number light. The background we put it for red, and for the dark we put it as black. The extra features we added are button animation, tile animation, game winning notification, game winning alert, as well as multiple backgrounds. In the game animation element, all All the span elements in the ID game, they animate according to the code. And the HR element, it adds a top margin of 30 pixels, a border width of 0, a border top of 2 pixels with a solid line and a gray color. And it sets the HR to 80 pixels for the width. And the margin bottom is 0 pixels, which removes any bottom margin. For the name letters, the margin is 20 pixels, and the font family is Indie Flower with cursive. Font size is 50 pixels with the color of black and the background color of white. The opacity is 0.8. For the 15 element, the font size is 50 pixels, font weight is 800, which is the boldness of the font. And the mixed blend mode is put to darken. So when the whatever it's placed over, it's darker. The opacity is 0.8 and the color is black with the letter spacing of 2 pixels. And for the overlay, it's like relatively the same thing. For both overlays, the position is fixed, display none, width is 100, height is 100%, top, left, right, bottom is 0, and the background color is black with a Z index of 2 and cursor put to pointer with the font family of Indie Flower cursive.
Style CSS of the final project. So for my part, I made the text one and the text two, which you see on the website. I changed the font family to Indie Flower in cursive, and I also positioned it absolutely so it is positioned near its closest container. I changed the top and the left to 50% of its size. The font size I changed it was 80 pixels. I made the color white and transform moves the element up and the left 50%. The font color is also font size is 30 pixels, font boldness is 80, and the mix blend mode darkens over what it is placed over. I changed the color to the red and the change letter, and I also changed the letter placing to 4 pixels. I did all of that so it is easier for the user to interact and read the instructions or the title of the game if they want to read. And in the class button, it allows the block properties, and I set the font boldness to 400, and the color is red, white, and it aligns at the center of the box, and it has a margin of 15 pixels on the top with no additional margin on left, right, and bottom. The button itself is 100 pixels, and it prevents the text inside the button from being selectable. The background color is dark red. The It creates a transparent border, adds a padding, and makes the button larger and more comfortable to click on. And with the horizontal of 0.75 rem, then the vertical of 0.375 rem padding, and it sets the font size relative to the root font size. For this class, I made a social icon, which is a whole class which contains all of our links, the icons where you can click and go to our LinkedIn pages. I positioned it relatively, and I also made the text to be center, and the margins are 20 pixels, so it's easier right in front of your eyes if you want to go to our LinkedIn pages, which is do sure to check out. And for our social icons, they are in block, their height is 3.5 rem, same as the width. The background is white, the opacity is 80, and the color is red. And the border is 100%, so it is a circular icon, and the text is center. And I added a hover feature for that, so when you hover over that, when you hover over the icon, sorry for the battery icon. So when you hover over the icon, the background color of the icon changes to a pinkish, and when you also hover over it, it also changes the background. It doesn't change any color and the border color, but only the background color changes to pinkish whitish, so it's not red or pink, it's in the middle ground, and the opacity goes to 0. And for the footer, I changed the margin to 20 pixel. I made the font size to be 24 pixels, and the font weight is bold, and the text is centered, so it's easier and right in front of your eyes. For the button outline primary, I made the color red, which is the same as our link icons. So when you click over it, it does the same thing, which is it changes in size, and also it makes the button more reddish, and it doesn't change the background color or the border color. It just makes the color of the background a reddish, but not the letters. And for the footer span, I made it a color of black and the background is white, so I want the user to see it. And I also made the opacity of 80%, so the white background is letting you see through the background of the HTML page. And I think this is it for my part. And yeah.
Hey guys, this is Karan Shrivastava, and today I'm going to be presenting the JavaScript logic and functioning of our final project for the class of web programming. So, we're going to go ahead and start. First of all, we have initialization. In this slide, we'll discuss the initial setup of the 15 puzzle game using JavaScript. The game's initialization is handled by the create and solve function. This function is responsible for creating a solved state for the puzzle at the start. Each tile's position on the game board is determined by setting its style left, style top properties. This positioning is based on the tile's row and column indices, ensuring that the tiles are placed correctly. We use an alternative color pattern for the tiles, which is managed by adding either a dark or light class based on the tile's position. This not only helps in visual differentiation, but also makes the board look appealing. The IDs assigned to each tile are crucial for tracking their positions and managing their movements. The empty cell, represented by a unique class, is an essential part of the game, as it allows the tiles to move. Next, we'll cover the shuffling mechanism, which is crucial for creating a new game experience each time. The shuffle function handles by randomizing the position of the tiles. To ensure proper shuffle, we use a timer to control the speed at which the tiles are moved. This helps in achieving a through mix without making the shuffling process appear too fast or too slow. One key aspect of the shuffle function is to avoid immediate reversals of the tile movements. This is done by keeping track of the previous cell and excluding it from the next move. This ensures a more random and challenging shuffle. A vital consideration during shuffling is to maintain a solvable puzzle. The algorithm ensures that the game can always be solved, preventing frustration for the players. Next, we're going to go ahead and look into tile movement. In this slide, we focus on how tile movements are handled in the game. The move number cell to empties function is central to the functionality, as it manages the movement of tiles when a player interacts with the game. When a tile is clicked, the function first checks if it is adjacent to the empty cell. This check is performed using the getEmptyAdjacentCell if it exists function, which ensures that only valid moves are allowed. The actual movement involves swapping the clicked tile's position with an empty cell's position. This is done by temporarily storing the current positions and IDs, then updating them accordingly. It's important to update the game state after each move, including the visual representation and internal tracking. This ensures that the game's logic remains consistent and the user experience is smooth. This is a screen the user will encounter once they've managed to solve the puzzle. And at the end, you want to have a congratulatory message displayed to make sure the user feels nice and they know that they've completed the puzzle. Thank you so much for letting us present, and these are our LinkedIn profiles if you want to connect with us and have a chat about how the project works. Thank you so much.